Hey everyone, it's Nick and John coming at you with a Monday market update, the last one of 2021, if you can believe it. Hope everyone had a great Christmas or holiday, whatever you're celebrating. And as we look to the new year, we're going to make some forecasts about where we see the market going and who is ultimately going to be impacted by some of the changes we could see. So Nick has some data he's going to talk about. Nick?
Yeah, so we've been looking at the gap between two-story single family and townhomes over the last year to 2 years. And since January of 2020, the price gap has grown considerably. We're going to show some numbers up on the screen, but going back to that period, it was a gap of 577,000. That's widened to just over $1 million today. That's based off of the Korea HPI, so that benchmark price index. And we took it from the Oakville area. This percentage gap is relatively consistent when you look at other communities. So we narrowed it down, but don't think that this is unique to Oakville. This is a problem we're seeing across the GTA market. A lot of people in 2021 sat on the sidelines. They were thinking that the market would come back to them eventually. But what we're seeing as well now with the investors that we talked about last week coming back into the market is that trend is not going away. So we're trying to encourage as many people as we know who are looking to move up from a townhouse into that next step, the two-story single family, that they should be looking at that next year because that gap's widening. Incomes are pretty stagnant. That equity that they built up in their townhouse is only going to count for so much. So rather than waiting for the market to come to you, I think it's optimum for people to start taking it to the market and trying to get into those bigger homes next year, as well as coming from apartments. Apartments to townhomes, that gap is widening as well. So it's a problem we're seeing across the GTA, and Jonathan's going to go into a little bit more depth as to how we see that demand continuing for two-story single family.
Yeah, definitely. There's another cohort that's coming to the market that really people haven't been considering. We watched an interview recently with the CEO of Sotheby's Canada, and he mentioned the Gen Z cohort. So basically anyone born between 1993 and 2011. It was initially assumed that they would focus heavily on things like apartments and townhomes, and specifically the rental market. However, as we look at some of the numbers here, 70% of this generation have expressed a desire to own a single-family home one day. And so that is ultimately a cohort that is going to put pressure on the market that is already dealing with a surge in demand. Some other numbers I want to throw at you. There's over 1 million new immigrants expected in the next few years. 60% of those people are going to want to get into the market and own a single-family home. So again, a very large group of people who are going to be coming to the country looking for housing. So that is going to have an inflationary effect on pricing as well. Mortgage regulations may offer temporary respite for growth in 2022, but that will affect certain market segments. A wise move, and Nick touched on this as well, a wise move would be definitely to make a move in 2022. Because at least the first quarter of 2022 is predictable in a way because it doesn't look like there's going to be many rate adjustments. It doesn't look like the market's going to change too much. But as we covered before, you're going to see that gap between the equity that people have built up in their current homes and purchase price homes on the homes that are a step up widen. And it may get too large for them to make that move. And so they'll be stuck in that holding pattern, waiting and hoping that things change. But as we know, real estate prices have outstripped income growth. So really, sellers are relying on that equity they've built up in their homes to make that next step up. So we hope you found this information interesting. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to message us on Instagram, Williams Family Real Estate, or our website, williamsfamilyrealestate.com. We'd love to discuss it with you further and be a real estate resource for you. Thanks a lot, and to health and prosperity for 2022.